Good morning, class. In today's lesson, we're going to be taking a look at restrictive and non-restrictive clauses. And I'm using this application called Quizlet to test our knowledge in both restrictive and non-restrictive clauses. Now, as you can see here, this application is very useful for understanding the requirements by having you take a type of flashcard test to see that you can recognize the sentence as being either restrictive or non-restrictive. And in this case, we have the sentence, candy that contains chocolate is dangerous to dogs. Now, as we have learned in the lesson before, when we start our clause with that and we see no commas, we define this as a restrictive clause. What can we see as a non-restrictive clause? Candy, comma, which is a sweet, comma, is irresistible to children. Let's take a look at another restrictive clause. People who have a sweet tooth consume a lot of sugar. Restrictive. Again, why is this a restrictive clause? This is important to the sentence, does not contain any commas, and so therefore it is known as a restrictive clause. People is the antecedent to who have a sweet tooth, consume a lot of sugar. People, comma, who don't always do what is good for them, comma, consume too much sugar. So again, our indication here is that this is not necessary to the sentence by the commas that start the clause and end the clause in the middle of the sentence. The sentence, people consume too much sugar, will stand on its own. Italian architecture, which is often studied by art students, is classically beautiful. So again, we know that a non-restrictive clause is a clause where it's not necessary for the meaning of the sentence to be understood. So if we eliminate, which is often studied by art students, we get the sentence, Italian architecture is classically beautiful. We have the sentence, the architecture that is illustrated in this textbook is from Asia, Europe, and South America. Now we can see that this is a restrictive clause that adds to the meaning of the sentence, and it has no commas to indicate that it is a necessary part of the sentence, telling us, specifying that the architecture is illustrated in this textbook. We see here the decorative pillows that designer placed on that sofa were unique. We have a non-restrictive clause. Now, generally speaking, we see that the non-restrictive clause start with which, but in this case we have that. So we refer to the commas, and the meaning of the sentence is still valid without the extra information, so we recognize this as a non-restrictive clause. We have pillows, which can be stuffed with down or cotton, are found in every culture. We have a restrictive clause using the word which. We have no indication of commas, so therefore we can see that pillows being stuffed with down or cotton are found in every culture is useful to the meaning of the sentence. So again, this website will help with understanding by practicing the necessary topics through flashcards, through learning to use them in writing or spelling or giving yourself a nice little test. Again, Italian architecture, which is often studied by art students, is classically beautiful. So we need to define this as either a restrictive or non-restrictive clause. Take some time on your own to go through this website to understand what is required and test yourself on the knowledge. Good luck, students. Have a great day.